Welcome back to On the Ground. So, I want to talk about some other things that aren't really related to the four tracks or Honda Rancher 420. This is the kind of oil I plan to use um, for the first oil change. This is your regular GM4. They just have a new bottle uh, that it's in, or jug. So when I get a chance to get it out and get that first 100 miles in, I thought I was gonna do it this month, but might have to wait till next month. Uh, it'll be kind of cool, but I think it'll maybe all right. I don't know. We'll see. Anyways, I wanted to talk about uh, Hurricane Helene and the devastation that it's caused in states like North Carolina, Eastern Tennessee, which is what I've been looking a lot at today in this past week. Uh, you know, YouTubers, vloggers, people that are actually from there that made videos when it was happening, actually uh, walking through the areas that were impacted and listening to people that are actually trying to uh, bring relief and aid and donations to the region and the area. I'm from southern West Virginia, and we used to go to Cherokee, North Carolina, Gatlinburg, Tennessee, and Nashville, and I work out in Nashville. So I'm familiar with the area, as it's part of the Appalachians there. I'm just going to be kind of blunt about it. It's way worse. The devastation is much more widespread than Asheville and Irwin, if I'm telling you correctly. Tennessee. Uh, it's way worse and way uh, more widespread. I've been watching videos of places like Chimney Rock, Asheville, um, Solano, North Carolina, um, Irwin, yes, Black Mountain, North Carolina, and there's a lot of small towns. I haven't got a lot of their names yet, but I'm working towards that. I'm going to be posting videos on my Facebook. Um, I might see about posting them up on my YouTube channel just to give you a general idea. But it's all in Marshall, North Carolina, which it was destroyed, that town, pretty much. But it's not as bad as some of the other places, which I mean it's very, very bad. Uh, I don't know that they'll ever really fully rebuild it. They may. It's it's in God's hands, but it's pretty. That flood just changed the physical landscape. I mean, it's very just I'd say destroyed. It's uh, it's very bad. I don't know how many people have died. A lot of people don't. Uh, I could see the death toll climbing a lot higher, but that's speculation. Um, the sheer destruction is just, I mean, it looks like nuclear bombs went off, you know. Uh, but it's way, way worse, and you don't hear much about the surrounding areas of Asheville. They just focus on Asheville, but it's not just Asheville. There are so many places that look as bad or worse than Asheville. Asheville's just a maybe a more well-known area, but it's destroyed all kinds of territory and area. So I encourage you to go YouTube it and watch some of it. It's really bad. Um, the FEMA funds, I want to touch on that too. Because based on what I've been able to determine, the people that are actually applying for the $750 of federal aid have all been denied. Everybody that's applied for it. So they're not even getting that. And I don't have any other reports or finding any other information from people that's actually applied and have got it. So there's also claims that FEMA's blocking people from bringing in donations, and other authorities in the area, like the sheriffs in certain areas. I don't know. They're not allowing helicopters by people who have their own personal aircraft to do like donation drops, relief drops, and aid, or even maybe rescue people. They're still doing rescues. There's a lot of places that are isolated because there's no way to get out of the area conveniently. Some people just can't traverse the terrain. Maybe elderly, young children, things like that. It's just really bad. I do want to emphasize my view on the FEMA funds. I do believe that they laundered that money for the whole trafficking of foreigners and illegal immigrants here, because they didn't go through the legal process. So I believe it's legally illegal that they're here. They tried to emphasize it was two separate programs. It was FEMA funds. They just wanted to use those funds to deal with the immigration, agenda. So they laundered it, and now they don't have it to provide for people that need it. And like I said, right now there's people saying they're not even getting it, and they're applying for the $750, which we all know is not anywhere near enough. Some say, well, that's just immediate, which I can understand if it was just immediate, and there's a lot of people to provide that for. But everybody that's reported on it saying, hey, we were instantly denied. Everybody's being denied. Nobody's got a proof for it. So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, if the money's not there, it's not there, even if it's $750 for the people applying. I also seen here just recently, haven't looked into it, that a lot of people were not insured for this. So they may have lost everything and not have anything to help them other than what people in the surrounding area and any charities and anybody that's getting involved. The federal government is not being involved enough. Some places aren't seeing any indications of FEMA at all, or any kind of federal assistance. Only in like maybe Asheville and certain well-known areas there's a little bit going on, but it's based on what I've been looking into it pretty much all day. And I do listen to what the mainstream media says just to hear what they have to say. But I look for YouTubers and people that are from there, that live there, can say, this is what's happened to my house, this is what's left of it, stuff like that. People that are YouTubers that were curious and wanted to see it for themselves, and they went in there, maybe people don't like that. Like people just coming and surveying or looking at the damage and stuff. But at least the outside people of America that actually care, even though we don't know them people personally, we still care, can actually see that what kind of impact that storm had and everything that's going on. so that we can do our part, to help. If our government's going to help, then it's we the people. We're going to reach out. We're going to help. We're going to do what we can. It's hard for us to get money to people there, because we don't know if we can't get there. I don't have a vehicle personally. I'm in Wisconsin. You know, uh, I don't have a lot of money to offer, but a little bit's better than nothing. But you don't know how you're supposed to get it to them. You don't know what charities or donation programs or funds are actually going to help the people that actually need it and provide them with what they need. There's just been so many scams over the years. People will take a school shooting and they'll put up a false charity for the families and steal the money. I mean, that's outrageous. Those people should be incarcerated. They should be found. They should be incarcerated for that kind of stuff. It's just not acceptable. What the government is doing is not acceptable. We need to take them out by force. I mean, it's that simple. If diplomacy fails, if democracy fails, we have to remove them. That's just the bottom line, because they're not going to do what they're supposed to do. They're just going to talk, but they're not going to do. If they put on a little bit of show, it's not enough. It's like the border crisis. There are over 300,000 National Guard personnel. We know that the administration that's been in office for the last 4 years has not done anything near enough what they have the power to do to address these issues the proper way. And their inaction speaks volumes. And they're not excused. They should be incarcerated. Yes, Kamala Harris or Joe Biden, they should be behind bars, not figuratively, literally, and everybody that worked with them. They should not go unpunished. I don't believe that's just my opinion. I believe that they deserve to be punished for it. Too many people have suffered, and they had responsibilities, and they neglected to fulfill those obligations and responsibilities. And they should be held fully accountable and prosecuted to the full extent of the law. They should not, just because of who they are, they should not be exempt from the consequences. If Donald Trump becomes president, I don't know. I hope he presses it to where they actually are punished for it, and everyone involved, because they don't deserve to get off scot-free. They did not do what they should have done. I don't trust politicians. I don't. The government's proven itself to not really care like they ought to. That money's really not theirs. They act like it is, but it's not. It's ours. We worked for it. We earned it. They didn't. They're supposed to use it and not say they're using it or going to use it. We're supposed to see mobilization of National Guard troops by the masses, federal aid. I mean, jumbo jets landing full of aid. Tractor trailer after tractor trailer and flatbed trailers with equipment and temporary housing and shelter and trailers that are, like mobile homes, and, all kinds of this should be provided for these displaced people. It should be like a top priority to get those places back up and running. They should have that money to cover all those expenses and costs. That's what those FEMA funds were for, but what did they do? They laundered it. They used that money for their own agenda. It happened in broad daylight right before our eyes, even in the mainstream media. They just want to say, oh, this is what you're looking at. What we're looking at is you changing the laws and bringing people in illegally to fast track them and doing all kinds of reckless things. You don't care about us, and we know you don't care about them. You're just using them people. It's not really their fault because they ain't from here. They don't know how it works. You know, our government is not worthy of honor. You know, our troops have fought to defend us, not to fight their wars. So the truth is, I believe that our government needs to be overthrown and reformed personally, uh, because they they're not doing what they're supposed to do. It's not serving its purpose and its people. You know, the elite, they're less than 1% of the world's population. They should not decide the fate of the world. But I encourage you to pray, to seek God, and do what you can, help these people, because there's not anybody else going to reach out and help these people, except for those of us that care, the regular citizens. And which is good that we care and are willing to and will try to help our neighbor and stuff, love our neighbors ourselves. But this isn't what the government is teaching us. This is what God has taught us. Our government is not doing what it's supposed to do. You know, we know that they do wrong. There's no way that they would be reelected. I'm unbiased. You know, obviously they've offended me, but I'm not like a big Trump supporter. It doesn't mean that I don't support what he says. I just don't fully trust the man like that. But if he follows through with what he says, and we see that materialize, that's what we need. That's what they're supposed to do. But I've listened to too many people. There's just no way the people would vote for them. The overwhelming majority want Trump, and if he didn't win, we know that they've hijacked our government, and committing voter fraud and lie. They just whatever they can do, but they would not be reelected. There's just no way. It's against that which is the most sensible thing to conclude. There's no way that they would be reelected. So it's it's my channel. I can say what I want, but the truth is, no one in their sensible, honest, right mind would vote for them people again. They've proven that they will do nothing but allow this country to go to ruin, contribute to its ruin. So I'm pretty upset that those people aren't getting aid. I'm pretty upset that they've done all this crooked stuff that they've been doing, and try to hide it and lie about it on top of it all. They're such cowards. They want to say all because Donald Trump talking about they're eating cats and dogs. They could have been. Just because there's not proof doesn't mean that they didn't, They could have just ceased to do it when they started coming under pressure and started staying inside and staying out where people could see them. They didn't want to get in trouble. They didn't want to get caught. They didn't want to get deported, So, I did some research. Eating cats is not a delicacy, based on documentaries of a variety of different things about Haiti long before this all happened. In Asia, they do eat cats, but it's not known to be something that Haitians eat. The birds and ducks and stuff, yeah, but not cats. I don't think dogs either. But I heard people say it was a delicacy, but there's a little bit of misinformation, but it doesn't mean that the Haitians being fast-tracked to get licenses and given all this money, it doesn't mean that stuff's not true. It doesn't mean that they haven't been given thousands of dollars and free cars and free housing and working for these staffing agencies and being brought to various locations and given the jobs and given preferential treatment over the local citizens, doesn't mean all that's not happening. You know, they want to discredit the bulk of what maybe Donald Trump has to say or what other people have to say about the wrongs they're doing by focusing on something that sounds crazy, like eating cats and dogs. Well, in some civilizations or some countries or cultures, they do. Okay, that's not something that is normal or common. Maybe not even legal in the United States. I don't know specifically. It may vary from state to state, but and no, they did launder that money, that FEMA fund. They changed the law right before all the influx of migrants come in, and they used that money for that. And now they don't have the money. They might not even have the $750. Time will tell. But you know, these people that are affected by these storms and floods from this Helene hurricane are not getting the help they should be getting. It's been over a week. There should be thousands of people working from the federal government and federal services and Army and National Guard down there, and a variety of charities, and they should all be reaching access there. I mean, you know, it should be like they're deploying for a war zone, because that place looks like it's been ravaged by a war zone. You know, if you don't care about your own citizens, you don't care about migrants. You know, not that they're lesser people. It's just, you know, we, the working Americans, the majority of us work. That's where all this tax money comes from, not from people who don't work. They use that there's a small percentage of people that don't want to work and say, that's half of America. We cannot work and live in this country on a lot of these low income jobs. And without benefits. They don't even want to give people benefits. I know, I've worked in factories. They want to use staffing agencies. They don't want to give you enough money. They don't want to give you a path to be hired with the company. They don't want to give you benefits. They don't want to give you vacation. You know, they want to fire you for little things, which I didn't get fired, but I seen them fire a lot of people for little things. I worked at a company for over 3 consecutive years as a temp title. Worked 6 days a week for 3 consecutive years, no gaps of employment. But they never would they lead you to believe they will, but they don't. And I'm not the only one. And you know, that's what a lot of factories do. They resort to staffing agencies. And there's a lot of foreigners. At this factory may be a lot of Asians. At this one may be a lot of Mexicans. You know. And believe me, you wouldn't be too happy if you see what's on their check versus on the taxpayer's check. What you gross is what they take home, basically, for the same job. You know. But they get to reap the benefits of taxpayer money. Everybody that lives in this country and works should pay taxes. Everybody should do their part that lives here. You know, freeloaders should not reap the benefits of tax dollars. But, and I don't believe anybody would really agree with that. You know, again, people coming in this country, you know, they're not lesser people, but they have a lot to learn. They have a lot of obligations they have to fulfill, but they don't always know it. It takes time. You know, they have to conform to this culture. That's just the way it is. They came here. They have to learn the language. They have to learn the laws. They have to learn the history. They have to learn the culture and way of life, and they have to conform to that. But I could go on about how they work, save up for a few years, go back to their country, and never have to work again. I know people that done it. It's not right, but you know, again, it's not really their fault. Of course, among some of these groups from Venezuela or Mexico or Honduras or Nicaragua or Haiti or whatever country, there's going to be bad people among them. just like there's bad people among Americans. We all agree they should be vetted. They should go through a proper process. Proper identity should be established with all of them. We should be able to track them. They should all be fingerprinted and stuff like that. So there's a database with their information so that if they commit crimes, they don't get away with the crimes. That we know where they are, just like they know where we are. They know, we're not exempt from the obligations of the law, and neither should they be. But, and that's what this video is primarily about, because there's nothing much else to change. I need to wash the fluid again. Yeah, they changed the bottle for the oil. That's the oil I plan to use for the first oil change. But yeah, so if anything changes or any updates, I'll let you know, and I'll see you here again next time on the ground.